Well, we know those 3 U.S. Marshals are here at Jacoby Hospital right now. You can see there's a large contingent of law enforcement in and outside the emergency room. We went around back and saw multiple law enforcement out there as well, where those 3 U.S. Marshals were brought this morning with gunshot wounds. However, we believe they are expected to survive. Also, one of the suspects involved in this shootout is here as well being treated. Now, this all relates to a traffic stop back on November 20th. In Hyannis, Massachusetts, where a state trooper was shot during that traffic stop. U.S. Marshals were brought to the Bronx this morning in the suspect search in relation to that officer being shot several weeks back. And when they encountered 2 suspects this morning, gunfire ensued. One suspect was shot dead on Ely Avenue, as you see from these live aerial images. This is the scene right now unfolding as investigators here. But again, one suspect has died at that scene, another brought here to Jacoby Hospital, where there's 3 other U.S. Marshals are being treated as well for various injuries. We that are wounds as well. A little bit more on this shooting back on November 20th on Cape Cod. Apparently, this young officer in his 20s was shot in the hand during that traffic stop and released from the hospital right before Thanksgiving, according to local reports. So again, the investigation spanning several hundred miles now here to the Bronx this morning, where they are investigating whether those suspects were involved in that shooting of the Massachusetts state trooper. Of course, this investigation is still very much in its infancy. Our law enforcement sources as well, but the news appears to be okay for those 3 law enforcement members, those U.S. Marshals who are being treated by doctors here. We are waiting to see if there will be any sort of briefing from doctors and police to let us know the latest on their condition at this hour, and any more details about these 2 suspects who were also shot in the Bronx in the Wakefield section, one of which is now dead. Reporting live here at Jacoby Hospital, I'm Anthony DiLorenzo, Pix 11 News.
Anthony, thank you, and keep getting more information on this multi-state investigation for us. We appreciate it.
All right, we got our crew at the scene right now. We have reporter Rebecca Solomon there at the scene on Ely Avenue in the Bronx, and she's joining us right now. Rebecca.
A very active scene here on Edenwald. Several street blocks are continued to be blocked off. In fact, it took us quite some time to find some parking here as police are still on the scene. As Anthony mentioned, the officers have been transported to Jacoby Hospital. The investigation still very much underway, but if you take a look, you can see the police officers, dozens of them here on the scene right now, stretching down for several blocks on Edenwald here. This happened around 5:30 this morning. So about an hour ago, and as we've already mentioned, these 3 U.S. Marshals, they were apparently looking for a suspect in a shooting of a Massachusetts state trooper. This was a very high-ranking law enforcement, and sources tell us that the Massachusetts state trooper was shot a couple of days ago. Now here, the incident continues here in the Bronx as police officers are continuing their search for this suspect, which leads into a shootout, and sources tell us that, the shootout then led into these people being transported to Jacoby Medical Hospital. But here on the scene in the Bronx, you can see it is very active. We have several officers here, and we're continuing to try and get more information about the cause of this and how long they'll continue to be out on the field. Now, if you are heading this way, be prepared for some severe traffic delays. We're having several officers, I would say a half a mile of streets are blocked off in this area. We're getting more apparatus coming to the scene right now, and of course we will keep you posted along the way right here from the Bronx, or live in the Bronx. Rebecca Solomon, Pix 11 News.